What's going on, everybody? So yes, Duke basketball did get their third commitment in the 2025 class in the four-star power forward Nikolas Khamenia. He's from out here in SoCal. He also had UCLA and Gonzaga, two West Coast teams in his final three, but ended up choosing Duke late in the process because I guess it looked like he was predicted to go to UCLA, but ended up making the right decision in my mind, obviously. So yes, he's committed, and I think even a guy who's a pretty good friend of his in that 2025 class, also Shelton Henderson, who is a five-star player, is also already getting predicted to USC right before his commitment date coming up soon. So yeah, definitely look forward to talking about him committing to the 2025 class as well. And when it came to the Lakers on opening night this last Tuesday, yes, they had the Minnesota Timberwolves, who was a pretty good team. I think they were even in the Western Conference Finals as well this last season, but Lakers got the better of them, and they were able to get that victory 110 to 103, something like that. Anthony Davis went off with 36 points, 16 rebounds, and 4 assists. Obviously, J.J. Redick, ex-Duke player, got his first victory as a coach. Dalton Knecht did hit a couple of his shots, the first-round rookie that the Lakers selected, so that was good to see. Also, and then, yeah, it was a pretty big moment. Obviously, probably the only moment that everybody keeps talking about from this game, other than the two or three other things I mentioned that were probably more important or popular, was that LeBron and Bronny did check in together and all this other stuff, because you kind of wonder why LeBron went out pretty early in that first quarter, because everything was looking fine. Wasn't in foul trouble or anything like that, but of course they did it for this big moment and all this stuff. I'm pretty sure it's going to be on a Nike commercial, as Charles Barkley kept saying throughout the broadcast of Inside the NBA. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'm pretty sure, I don't think Bronny even made a shot, but he did get a couple shots in there from LeBron and all that stuff. But either way, it's finally that they got it out of the way. They still got the victory, even though they did that kind of circus moment, but at least a bit proud. Even got a little bit of goosebumps, even though I saw it in the preseason. I don't know why I did, but yeah, I guess it was fun to see. But like I said, now we can move on. And speaking of the NBA's opening night, yeah, the game before, Jason Tatum, the ex-Duke player, was playing for the Celtics. He got his ring, obviously, but he also threw down 37 points, 10 assists, and 4 rebounds. And even that ex-USC player, Drew Peterson, got his ring too, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I didn't watch the festivities just because it's like it's the Celtics, whatever. But I am happy for those guys from my ex-colleges that I do follow, that their success and them winning. But either way, I didn't want to enjoy it. But not bad by Tatum. He did not play that much for Team USA and all this stuff after even winning the title with Boston, and now he showed why he deserves to probably get some more playing time even during that Olympic run. But yeah, glad he was able to show out, even though if it was a victory for the Celtics. And yeah, good luck to all those Duke and USC guys throughout the opening week of the NBA season coming up. But even a guy who had a pretty big game as well, Onyeka Okongwu, the ex-USC guy, he had a pretty big game. He had like 28 points, which was a new career high for him. So that's pretty awesome for him to have an opening night. So yeah, either way, hopefully he gets some more. I think even Paolo Banchero had like 31, the ex-Duke player, and he didn't have any turnovers. So like his points and rebounds, along with no turnovers, were like the first time somebody has ever done something like that in NBA history, which is obviously insane. But they look at through all these weird ass stats and all these other records and stuff that nobody really cares about or are probably as important. But I guess now he holds that record, so that's pretty cool. And it looks like heading towards the NFL trade deadline, the Chargers might be interested in a couple of players, especially on the receiving side. Obviously, the wide receiver Cooper Kupp, if he does become available from the Rams, then I guess they would be a team that's interested. I don't know why you want to be interested in a guy who's not even healthy, even as of right now, to come to a team where always injuries end up becoming worse, in my opinion, once they join the Chargers. So I don't really like that one, but I do like a second guy that they're supposedly interested in is a tight end from Cleveland, and David Njoku, who's a very talented guy, and he's probably going to be the top pass catcher for that team, so you might have to give up a little bit more to get him, but he would definitely be an awesome player for Justin Herbert to throw to in that offense, in my opinion. So looking forward to seeing what the Chargers end up doing towards this trade deadline that's coming up soon. Then both Juju Watkins and Kiki Iriafen were both named to the AP All-American first team or All-Americans or whatever it is. I don't know if it was a first or second team, but they were both named to that main All-American team. So that was pretty cool to see, even though it's AP, whatever. But yeah, I guess it's like the first time since two teammates have done it. since like 2017, 2018 that year, something like that. So yeah, congrats to both those ladies, and hopefully they will be able to bring us home a championship for the USC women's basketball team. And then yeah, there was this article saying that the USC Trojans are pretty much stuck with Lincoln Riley as their head coach because of how large his buyout is going to be with this contract. I think if they were to do it today, it's probably like over $70 million, which is pretty insane. So it's kind of, in your best interest to keep him along so you don't have to pay him as much every single year that's left on his contract, or if he decides to end up going somewhere else to coach, whether it's another college or in the NFL, that's kind of what you can hope for. But yeah, they're kind of stuck with him, which I don't mind because the recruiting is still kind of positive as of this second. All those guys I talked about last week haven't really left or done anything. Like, it hasn't been bad news from that point. So either way, we'll try to monitor the situation. But speaking of the recruiting, yes, there was a 4-star 2025 linebacker, Kellen Wiley, who put USC in his final 10. So that was good to see on the football side. And even on the basketball side, that 5-star combo guard, Trey McKinney, obviously has USC in his final 3, but he's going to be announcing on November 9th, coming up soon, pretty soon, like a Saturday in a couple of weeks. So hopefully USC gets his commitment on that day. And back to football, there's a top defensive lineman from that 2025 class, and Kevin Wynn, who was committed to Florida State but decommitted, and I think he had visited USC pretty recently and liked his visit. So USC's trending in his direction, so that's pretty good to hear because he's one of the talented elite defensive linemen, as they say, in that 25 class. And there was another basketball player, I think he's one of the top junior college prospects, in Xavier Edmonds, and he put USC in his final 3. So we'll see where he ends up picking up. Obviously a JUCO player, so could be good, could be bad, but USC will kind of take anybody at this moment. And On3 did have a different rankings of the teams when it comes to the women's basketball side. They did have USC as number 1, which I don't mind at all, and they even did have the Duke women's team as a number 10 team overall too. So yeah, both my teams in the top 10, I'm not mad about that, so hopefully they can still stick with that and be some top 10 teams heading into March Madness in the next couple months. And the number 1 women's high school player in the 2026 class, her name is Kate Harpring. She did take an unofficial visit to Duke pretty recently, so hopefully they're in the running for the number 1 player apparently in that 2026 class, so that's all we can hope for right now. And then the ACC had a couple of players from Duke that were at positions. Player of the week, the linebacker of the week was from Duke and Ozzie Nicholas, and they also had the defensive back of the week of the ACC and Chandler Rivers. So yeah, it's great to see. They obviously earned it in that Florida State game, and hopefully they can continue it. I think against Virginia Tech is who they play this weekend, so hopefully they can get a win against a pretty solid team. And then a Duke edge commit, in Bariate Kara. I think that's what I wrote correctly. He apparently jumped up from a 3-star to a 4-star. So like I said, during this recruiting process, and guys heading into and throughout their senior year, they do have the ability to move up. So hopefully this does help improve the ranking of that Duke recruiting class in the class of 2025 as well. And the USC women's volleyball team had a couple of nice victories this last week. They beat Maryland 3-0 and Rutgers 3-0. So once again, they're proving to be way better against the same opponents that the football team has. Hopefully the USC men's team can win at least this Friday against Rutgers. We'll see how they do, because the women's volleyball team already just did. I think I'm going to be heading to that game because tickets are really cheap. So I'll update you if I live stream it from there or not. But yeah, I'm most likely going to be going to that Rutgers game on Friday night. And then the Duke softball team did have a couple more victories in that fall ball schedule. They beat Appalachian State 18-0 and Alon 14-2 as well. So like I said, this is most likely preseason, some pretty easy teams, and they're definitely showing how great they are already. So hopefully they can continue it once the season starts. And a couple of players have recently been posting and talking about these Nike PEs or something like that. I don't really know what the heck they're officially called, but they put them in Duke and USC colors. Like, a lot of the players are going to be repping these this year, and they look pretty awesome. Though I think one of them is like the women's, that is more white, the women's basketball side, so that's like kind of okay, but that's more of like a basketball shoe. But like the USC ones and the other Duke ones, those are pretty awesome. So if somebody thinks of me highly this Christmas and holiday season, then that would be a pretty awesome gift, in my opinion. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, fight on, and let's go Duke.